My guest in the Nimataion today is Benebell Wen, and together we are spinning a yarn. Benebell, you're a lawyer by day and tarot expert, Asian magic expert, occultist by night.
That's right, Bernhard.
And today we have you here. Welcome. Thank you for taking the time.
Glad to be here. I'm really excited.
Yeah, so what has been your favorite story as a child?
Well, it's a Chinese one, 铁扇公主. It's the Princess Iron Fan. She's actually a very minor character, just one chapter in a larger 16th century novel, 西游记, Journey to the West. I'm not sure if some people are familiar with it.
I've heard of it.
And it's basically focused on the Monkey King. But there was this one chapter that I just completely got hooked into, and it changed my whole view of the Monkey King and the protagonist of the story, the guy you're supposed to be rooting for. So I'll try to quickly summarize. Princess Iron Fan, she's a demon, or she's kind of characterized as a villain. She's one of the top 3 villains in the entire novel. But I didn't think so. So she's a demon, and she has this magical, powerful fan. So the Monkey King, the hero of the story, the guy you're supposed to be rooting for, comes to her and says, "Hey, Princess Iron Fan, can I borrow your fan? I need it for something because this fan can create these windstorms and can put out any fire." And she says, "No, you cannot." All right. But he won't take no for an answer. He's like, "Oh, how dare you say no to, I'm the great Monkey King. Nobody says no to me." So he turns himself into a fly, enters her stomach, and extorts. He basically tortures her until she can take the pain no more and says yes, and relents to giving him her magical fan. So our hero, our great hero, tortures this woman, okay, this demoness princess. But she outsmarts him, and she herself gives him a fake fan. So she tricks him and gives him the fake fan. He takes the fake fan, goes on his journey, and then realizes it's fake. Now he's super pissed off because this demoness, princess has outsmarted the great Monkey King. What does he do? He escalates the situation, goes up to the Jade Emperor. Well, a whole lot of things happen, but at the end of this chapter, he ends up going to the Jade Emperor, the King of Heaven. The King of Heaven takes his entire army and brings it down to this Princess Iron Fan, just this little demoness, and forces her to give her magical fan to the Monkey King. That's the story. And so the whole time that you're told this story as a child, you're rooting for the Monkey King. He's done the right thing. The princess is in the wrong for saying no to the Monkey King, our great hero, and to the Jade Emperor, who says no to the Jade Emperor. So she's definitely in the wrong. She's the villainess. But I completely could not get over that as a child. Even now, when I tell the story, I'm all jazzed up and angry all over again for this princess. And so that's the story that's always made an impression on me. Before that chapter, loved the Monkey King, loved the hero. After that chapter, never thought the same thing of him again. I cannot respect the Monkey King after that story.
So I assume it was told to you by your parents or grandparents?
It's one of those stories that every child that's engrossed in Chinese culture has grown up with. If you're part of the Chinese culture, you know this story, you've heard it before. It's part of it's like Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty, Snow White. It's that popular, that famous. Yeah. And I read it and the novel itself. Yeah, it's all over the place. It's hard. Like, where did you hear Snow White? You've heard it everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And how did you express your anger? Did you direct it at the book you read, or did you discuss it with your family? Or
I remember in Chinese school. So to learn the language, you have to read, you read these stories. So I remember in Chinese school in class, we were reading this one chapter and we got to it. And I had raised my hand to the teacher and said, I hate this story. I was like, how is she the villain? Why is she a villain? She is within her rights to say no. It's hers. It's her fan. It's her. Like, I don't understand why she's the bad guy in this. And no one could explain to me as a child. She goes, "Oh, she's a villain. The Monkey King is on this great journey. He's doing this great thing for heaven and for all the good people. So how can you say no to helping someone achieve a great mission?" I'm like, I don't agree with it, but it's still within her, So I remember expressing my just confusion as a child, but nobody could ever answer to me why she was a villain.
Mm-hmm. Have you found the answer yet?
No, and I think that's the point. I think
Mm-hmm.
the point is to be very wary of when people say this is the bad guy, this is the evil person, this is a demon, to be very mindful and wary of where they're coming from, and that perspectives are not so black and white.
Yeah, yeah. And I've heard you tell about Asian, especially Chinese magic, and that several people have advised you against it, and you will be vilified. So, is there some trait of this princess a little bit in you?
Yeah, I think so. I know in a lot of Taoist magic and a lot of traditions, there is a very particular viewpoint, and I think Western traditions have the same thing. So nobody is immune to this very particular perspective of what the type of spirit entities we would characterize as demons, lower vibration, however you want to
Mm.
characterize it. Exorcism, exorcise, clean, just get out, banish, right? That's the solution. Always banish, always exorcise. And I guess because of these stories I grew up on a subconscious level, it's always made me take pause and think before you go ahead and banish and exorcise, because I don't know if that's always the right answer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you made a great video about demons, and you had this very cute onesie. I just loved it. It's um, like, yeah, maybe there's another perspective to the bad guys. And
Yeah, exactly. I mean, think about if someone has wronged you tremendously, or you've experienced just tragedy after tragedy, and it has solidified a particular personality. You don't trust people. People have given you no reason to trust them. Think about the personality you would form, but you're still a good person. But you would have formed a particular personality that lashes out at people in a certain way.
mm,
And if I don't get to know you, to get to know that story, it's very easy for me to characterize you in a particular negative light. But once I get to know why you are the way you are, my perspective will shift 180 degrees.
yeah, yeah, that's my experience with exorcisms as well. Like the trained SWAT team that tries to de-escalate and tries to get the viewpoint of the criminals they're trying to get out of the building as safely as possible. The, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We even see that in the human world, rehabilitation. The best solution in terms of dealing with crime is to really understand the motivations, get behind that, and rehabilitate rather than just punish, condemn, and put away for life.
Mm, yeah, yeah. So, is there any further story about this demoness? How she turned out?
Oh, there's some. In Shioji, the Journey to the West, all of the characters are well known in terms of like in Buddhism, Taoism. They're like well known heroes that kind of are congregated into this novel. So in other texts pre-existing Journey to the West, there's this one account where this demoness, Princess Ironfan, used to be really close friends with Shi Wangmu, the Empress Mother of the West. I'm not sure if people are familiar with. So Empress of Mother of the West ended up ascending and becoming a queen of heaven. She becomes a celestial of some kind. And so there's this story of how the demoness and the queen mother had a falling out after the queen mother became a celestial in heaven. And so if you think about that backstory, now you understand why the demoness might have said no.
Mhm.
She has she has a thing against heaven. Heaven has wronged her in the past. Heaven is not the, perfect, innocent, good guys that we seem to think of heaven as. For her, from her vantage point, they've done her wrong. So if heaven has a mission for these people, why should she help heaven? I don't know. So that's another aspect. But then
Yeah.
there are other stories to it where she ends up she does spiritual cultivation, and then she becomes a good person. There's another account where the Monkey King comes back, returns the fan, and forgives her. That also pissed me off. He forgives her.
How condescending.
He returns the fan because he's so good, and then he forgives her. I'm like, what is there to you tortured her, you extorted her of her possessions,
Mhm.
you got the Jade Emperor to come and bully her. Forgive. Like, you
Very
can tell I'm still angry as an adult. I'm still angry.
patronizing patriarchal attitude.
Patriarchy at its best. Exactly.
Okay, yeah. That's very thoughtful. I just like how all these big stories interweave characters and their stories with each other, like it's supposed to be in our life. And yeah, thank you for bringing light on this particular story and this particular perspective to us.
My pleasure. And thank you for getting all triggered and pissed off again.
No, it's great. You're a very gifted storyteller. It's beautiful to listen to you. Benebell, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to talk to you again, and
Absolutely.
have a great day.
Thank you, Bernhard.
See you. The world is magic.